Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chapter 8 practice test. I'm Mr. Goldman. Sorry there's no fancy intro music. You're stuck with me today. All right, number one. Find the missing angle, x. I see that 60 degrees and x form a straight line, so I know that they are supplementary. So x plus 60 has to equal 180, so I can do 180 minus 60 and get 120. So x equals 120 degrees. And I know that 60 and y are vertical angles, so they are congruent or the same. Or similarly, I could say that if I know x is 120, this is a straight line, x and y are supplementary, they must add up to 180. So, and also this angle, missing angle, would be 120. So x is 120, y is 60. For 2, x and 25 degrees are complementary because this is a right angle. So I know that 25 plus x equals 90, or I can set up a subtraction problem and get, what is that, 65? So x equals 65 degrees. If angle A is 62 degrees, what is the measure of its supplement? Well, that means that 62 plus we'll call it x equals 180. Again, just subtracting both sides, setting up a little bit differently. X equals 118 degrees. Okay. Name 2 adjacent angles from the following diagram. Adjacent angles, remember, share a vertex. They share a common side, and they don't overlap. None of these angles overlap, and they all share the same vertex. So I'm just looking for 2 angles that share a common side. If I use this as the common side, angles A and B are angle A and angle B. That's 1. 2 would be B and C, with this as the shared side between B and C. Remember, think about walls in your house. Sharing with, like, if your siblings right next door, if you can knock on the wall and they'll hear you, that means they're adjacent. All right? Angle A and B and angle B and C are adjacent. Standard 2, draw a triangle with side lengths of 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters and a 60-degree angle between them. On my protractors, the centimeters are up here. So I'll start with just a 4 centimeter line right there. Make this dot nice and big. That will become my vertex. Notice how the line is right down this ray, right? It's not like that. It's not too low. The viewing window is right over the vertex, and the line goes right down the ray. I'll make a dot at 60, just so I know which way to go. And then I'll line this up. And I want to go all the way to exactly 6 centimeters. So this is lined up right at 0 centimeters, and I want to go all the way to 6. So there's my line. It went through this dot, which was my 60 degree, how I knew I was at 60 degrees. And I went to 6. I'm going to label all of these. 4 centimeters, 6 centimeters. This is 60 degrees. And then lastly, I'm just going to connect the dots to form a triangle. You only need to label the things I told you, but you do need to label them or you will not get credit. I have to see what's 4, what's 6. And also notice it says 60-degree angle between them. That means the 60-degree angle has to be between the 6 centimeter line and the 4 centimeter line. Okay, standard 3. Ella wants to find a measure of central tendency to predict how many points she will score in her next basketball game. The point totals for her last 7 games are as follows: 8, 11, 14, 12, 9, 50, and 13. Find the mean and median of each set. Mean. Remember, the mean is the arithmetic average. So we're going to add up all 7 scores of 8 plus 11 plus 14 plus 12 plus 9 plus 50 plus 13. So she scored 117 points in those 7 games. I'm going to divide that by the number of games, which is 7, and get a mean of, and I'll just, I should show what I did. 117 divided by 7 is about 16.7 points per game. The median. For the median, I have to put these in order from least to greatest. So I'll start with 8. I'll cross that out. Then 9. Next lowest is 11. Then 12. Then 13. Then 14. And finally 50. Just to make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 numbers. So my middle number is going to be the 4th one, which is 12. So my median is 12 points. Okay. Which would be a better measure of central tendency and why? Well, if you look at these scores, if we're using this grouping of her scores, most of the scores are around 12, right? She scores between 8 and 14, and then the 16 is a little bit higher than this, but that's because of this 50, which is an outlier. So since 50 is an outlier, the better measure of central tendency would be the median. Remember, outliers affect the average or the mean, but they don't affect the median. This could have been 5,000 points, and the median would still be 12. All right? So the key here is when there is an outlier, the median is the better measure of central tendency. All right, last page. Coach Barbera has only one more starting position available on his basketball team, but 2 students have tried out for it. Since he loves math, Coach Barbera created box plots based on the girls' point totals from their last 7 games. Look at the 2 box plots below and give Mr. Barbera your recommendation. So we have, this is Ella's scores. These are the exact scores we had last time. Oh, no, they aren't. They are not the exact scores from last time. Sorry. Different Ella's scores. And here's Caitlin's scores. Looks like Caitlin's scores were Ella's scores. Oh, well. So let's go to the questions. What is Q3 of Ella's points scored? Well, I have a box plot. I know that this is the minimum. This is Q1, median, and then Q3 would be right here. So Q3 for Ella is 18 points. What is the range of Caitlin's scores? Well, it goes from 50, range is the maximum minus the minimum, 50 minus 8, which is 42 points. What is the median for Caitlin's scores? Well, median's right here, right? As long as we can read a box plot, these questions are very easy. 12 points. Who is the more consistent scorer and why? A couple things I want to mention here. Range, IQR. Remember, IQR is Q3 minus Q1, right? So first let's talk about range. Caitlin's range of 42 is much higher than Ella's range of, which is 23 minus 12, which is 11, of 11. Which suggests that Ella is more consistent. Also, Ella has a lower IQR, and her IQR is 3, which is 3 to Caitlin's 5. I know that's not a very big difference, but we should mention it, which also tells us Ella is more consistent. Okay, so just one more time. These are the things I want to mention: range and IQR. Who is the more consistent scorer and why? Caitlin's range of 42 is much higher than Ella's range of 11, which suggests that Ella is more consistent. Also, Ella has a lower IQR, 3 to Caitlin's 5, which also tells us Ella is more consistent. So not only am I saying Ella is consistent, but I'm backing it up with mathematical reasoning based on the box plots. Okay? For this question, it might not be exactly this, you know. It might ask you to find IQRs. Just be prepared to do that. Yeah. Good luck tomorrow.